So therefore, in mobile app development, RecyclerView is a kind of a must known thing. So you need to follow a certain steps to develop a RecyclerView. So I think in the last class we started developing the RecyclerView. So the main target is to create a RecyclerView that will scroll some items. So this is the target. So we want to achieve a, uh, view like this, and we want to scroll the view. Apart from that, so we can add information into these blocks or into these views. Actually, they are called as items. So into these items, we can add the data. So the data we can define in our code, or else we can, we can input any other data that we want from outside from a certain database. Anyway, once you have the information, you can include them in these list items. So each of these items are known as list items. So this scrollable view we can uh, we can define for a large number of items. In this example, we have items up to 20. Also, we can go further and implement a situation where we can click one of the items and we can go inside and we can see some information regarding that specific item. So I think this part we will be discussing maybe at the latter part of today's lecture. Uh, so that will be the second phase of the recycler view, where you click on one item in the recycler view to get to another screen and obtain maybe another information, or else include information into the app. We can give some information into the app. So so we can use these kind of a separate screen for each list item. So if we go back, we can click on another item and we can get the specific details about that item through this method. So that will be regarding intents. We will discuss about the intents in the latter part of today's session. So first of all, we will try to complete the recycler view development. So I think in the last class, we actually, started doing the recycler view and we followed certain steps. So we stopped at this point where we have to define the contacts adapter or else the adapter for the recycler view. So the main purpose of the adapter is that the adapter is adapting the screen uh, based on the based on the scrolling of the user, based on the position of the user interface. The adapter is updating the views that is displayed in the screen. So adapter is necessary for us. It's a crucial thing for us when we are developing a recycler view. So if you are developing a recycler view, you need to define this adapter adapter file or adapter class. Adapter is a class that you define, and inside the adapter class, you define the functions that the adapter is doing. The adapter is needed for you to get the scrolling mechanism and dynamically update the data that is shown in the screen. So with that, we will be able to enable the dynamic features of the screen and adapt the data based on the moving of the screen. So we have to, define the operations under the adapter. So in the last class, we have got these separate functions that we need to define in order to get the necessary operation. So these are actually inbuilt, by default, inbuilt functions that come by default. So we need to define all these, basically these three functions, and we need those three defined to complete the recycler view, and basically the adapter part of the recycler view, right? In the last class, what we did was that, if I'm trying to summarize the work we have done, we have first, uh, you know, build the layout uh, for the application. The layout file we can find using activity main XML. So in the layout file, we have dragged and dropped to the recycler view as the activity main.xml. The layout for the activity underscore main XML is defined by the recycler view. After that, we actually define the separate, the separate look of each of the items in the app. So each of the items of the app will look like this. So we have defined two text views. We have defined the margins and gaps between the boundary and this card view. We have defined a card view. So card view, text view, we have used. After you have defined these layouts, you need to define the Kotlin code. In here, you have to define the necessary data that is required for us to input into the application. So we have to define certain data class. So the main purpose of this application that we are developing is to maintain a contact list of people. So in that situation, we have to have a set of information regarding people who have names and age information. So in order to define each person, a data class is defined initially at the very first step. As the very first step, you define a data class. So data class is something like a holder of data. So I mean, it is a class type that is used to hold data or store data regarding the objects that are defined by that class. So person is the class name that is given, and each instance of person, which is the object of the class, will have attributes of name and age. So we in this code we define the set of objects for the list, so that we define using this function called create contacts. That function will be creating contacts, and each contact will be defined by this class person. So we will take person type, and we will create a list of persons. So those that list will be given values. That list will be uh, stored in a certain variable called contacts. And each contact will have the name and the age. So each contact will be of type person, and the person will have attributes of name and the specific age. So this loop is used to create the list of information, the list of data. I hope it is clear to you by that up to that point. If you have any questions, let me know. So, uh, so that is up to that regarding the function and regarding the data creation. So, so once you have the data that you want to input into the application, then you can actually start creating the adapter which will adapt the data based on the position of the screen and show only the data that is related to that position. So what I mean is that the adapter will, when you're scrolling the view, once you go to this position, the adapter will update the data that was there in here previously with the new data. So when you're scrolling, actually what happens here is that the previous data which was stored here will be replaced by the new data. So RecyclerView is basically used to recycle and reuse views. So it is using the same number of views, and it is, updating the views as the screen gets scrolled. So the screen size, based on the screen size, there's a maximum number of views that can be fitted into the screen. So based on that, the data will be updated into each of these views. So RecyclerView is therefore known as a very resource, saving method of view. A method of implementing an application. So it is saving the resources and it is using less resources for this functioning app, right? So for the app to function, you need less resources. Otherwise, if you have hundreds of data items, then you need separately hundreds of views. But in this case, you only need about 8 views maximum to um, use this RecyclerView, and then you can update each of the views as the position changes. So recycling and reusing views is done by the RecyclerView. The RecyclerView, the name comes from the recycling operation, right? It is recycling the views and reusing for other data. So RecyclerView is basically used to create these kind of scrollable list of items. And in order for us to get the RecyclerView to update the data properly, we need to implement the adapter, the RecyclerView adapter. So it's a very crucial component in creating a RecyclerView. So in Android, you need to create this the adapter class. So we have started creating the contact adapter class. So that one we have defined in a separate Kotlin file, and we have started discussing about this contact adapter class and how we define that. So these steps are actually some kind of like mechanical step-by-step process where you need to actually implement all these functions every time you create a RecyclerView. So the RecyclerView, there are many functions that a RecyclerView does. So the functions are basically creating new views. So this function is used to create new views. So the onCreateView holder is used to create new views. So this that function is used mainly when the application is starting initially, and that application needs to create new views. When you are starting, for example, if you are closing this application and then you are actually trying to, uh, initiate that again, then yes, if you go to this application, then when you are initially in the screen, then the views have to be initialized. So the views have to be created from scratch. The creating of new views is done by the onCreateView holder. So the function that we have to implement in here, we have to define in here. Uh, then afterwards, actually, we have another uh, function where you will be binding the data to the views. So binding the data to the views will be done by the onBindViewHolder function. Right. So is it okay with you? So then we have this function where you get the item count, get item count, which is used to get the total items in a certain list. So it is used to get the total number of data inside the data class or the data list, right? So it is used to get the uh, number of items in the uh, data set. So if you want to actually, I think that is also required information to the application, and that this function is used by the application to get the total number of items in the data set. So we are actually now considering about the contacts list, right? Contacts list. So we consider that when we want to find the number of items in the contact list, we can basically get that using the size of the contact list. Right. So I hope it is clear with regard to the size of the contact list and how to get the this number where you need to count the number of items in the list. After that, we have the some you know the implementation of the what's that? Sorry, we have the uh, other class. So I think I have. So this one, view holder. View holder is used to uh, define the data for each views, right? So actually it is also similar to bind view holder, but in bind view holder, you will be basically considering the um, position of the view and then updating the data based on the position of the view. So when you're defining the view holder, you will be defining the specific defining data for each view. So defining data for each view, um, each view uh, inside the item view, item item layout. So we earlier defined this item layout. In this item layout, we have this text views, card views, and so on. So we have to define the data that comes under each of these text views and card view and so on. So when we are defining those separate values, you will be using this view hold class. So we will actually do that, and that is actually kind of a easy task actually when you're defining the data for each of the views. So starting off, I think the first thing that we can do initially is that get item count. So when you're getting the item count, you can use the size of the contact list. So contact list size you can define by taking the contacts. Yes, so contacts list, you can return that one as the output of this function. So if you get a, I think contacts should be where, defined as a variable in here. So once it is defined as a variable, it will be you will be able to get it like this, and there will not be any error in here. So apart from that, like if you want to get the item count directly, you can also remove the brackets in here and get the contact size directly like this as well. So in Kotlin, you can do like this without, using a certain brackets and return in the values. Can directly equal the get item count to contact size. So using that, we can define the number of items in the data set. After that, we can define the data inside each of the views in the item layout. So that we can do inside this inner class view holder. So each of the views inside the item, each of the views inside the item has to be updated with the data. So the data we have has to be put to the views. So when we do that, we can define the different variables we can put the data into the different views. We have to first define the views inside this class to obtain the views. So views we will obtain, and then we will put equal the text of those views into the data, equal the text of the views to the data that we have regarding each person. So we can define a variable called TV name to define the view that we use to define the name of the person. So the view type we can get as text view, and then item view. Item view we can item view is the overall name for the item that we have defined, item layout that we have defined. And from there we find a certain view, and that view name will be accessed by the views that we have given earlier. So earlier we have given certain view names for each view. So those names we can find from here. So for each view we have these names IDs. So the text view used to show the name is TV person name, other one is TV age. So using those, we can access those items. Then we can get the next one. That item also we can access. So you can define two variables to access the views separately. So these are the views. So to each of the views, we can put the data. So we have to, so we will be using certain function to put the data into each of the views. Right? So we'll be using a function like this to bind the data to each of the views, um, and we will be using the variable contact, and each contact will be having a name and age that will be put into the views in here, right? So each contact will be a variable that we have already defined in this code, and we already know like each of the contacts and its variables, its attributes. So if you want to update the text of the views, we will be uh, putting TV name dot text and then putting the name of the person, contact name. So if you want to update the TV age with the age, how should you update that? How should you update that? Uh, how should you show the age value in the view? Do you have any idea regarding that? What should come here? Can you let me know? So if I first give the text of the TV name or the text view, I update the text using this function TV name dot text. If I want to update the um, other view, what should I call first? Right. So actually, I will. So if you can't understand, I think I will try to explain what I have done in here in this inner class. Uh, we have basically these views, right? So these views have to be bound to the view. I mean, the data has to be bound to the views. So in order to do that, we can use this view holder class, and then we can we can use that to match or like put the data into each of the views. So each of the views will be defined by two text views. There are two text views. Each of the text views we can define using a certain variable. So the person name is given by a text view, and that one we will define as a variable, which is TV name. And age we will define as another variable, which is TV age. So those two are the variables that we define for each of the text views. Those text views we can obtain from the layout file. The layout file will be defined as the item view. The layout file for the separate items we can define using item view. Then item view, from that item view we can access this ID. I mean these views with the certain IDs. So once you access that and once you define that as a variable, you can actually access the attributes of the variable. The text views have an attribute called text. If you want to update the text of that text view, we can say dot text and equal contact name, for example. So contact is one of the one of the items of the data class which we define as person. So each of the contacts have name and age. So if you want to obtain values for the uh, if you want to update the text values of the TV age view, we can say TV age dot text, and then we have to update it with the contact age, right? However, like this contact age is something like an integer, right? It is an integer. We cannot equal the text attribute into an integer. Because of that, we have to put that as a string value. However, since this contact age value is a number, we have to put the dollar sign in front and put that as a string value, right? So the age will be the specific age. So with that, we define for each text view the value it should show. So each text view should show the name in the TV name text view and the age value in the TV age. So that is the general definition that we will use to define data for each view inside the item layout. So that is done using this inner class. So we will use this inner class as one of the inputs into the bind view holder function. Right. So now what we have done is that basically we have defined like what is the um, type of data that should appear here. We have defined the type of data that should appear in the text views separately. That's all we have done using this inner class. We haven't really, defined like data for each of the items, but we have just defined in general the data that should go in the view. Right? Do you have any questions? Also, I remember that in the last class I said that the steps to the recycler view generation is given in one of the Word files that I have uploaded in the LMS. You can look into that if you feel like it. However, sometimes some things are not detailed in that document, so you might need to follow the code that I mean, conducting in this as well. So if you prefer, you can also go through the LMS document that I also shared with you to get some idea regarding the development of the recycler view. So I think it also has some kind of like a basic idea regarding how to develop that. However, like we have to include all the in detail functioning of the uh, recycler view adapter class to get the functions working. So that part I think is missing in that Word document that I have shared in that LMS with you. So I think that because of that, some parts are missing there. However, you can also get some idea regarding how you can implement it, that step by step using this. So we are currently at the step number 4. In that we are going to develop this adapter. Adapter will have the 4 different functions, and the functions uh, will be basically on create view holder function, on bind view holder function, and get item count function. So these ones are used to do different tasks. So on create view holder will be used to create new views. Bind view holder will be used to bind the data to the view that is shown in the screen, and it will be a dynamic activity there. Then get item count will be used to get the total data size of the list. And my view holder is a inner class that is used to define the uh, uh, data uh, that should be specifically shown in each of the view items that are there in a single single list item, right? So there are different views inside a single list item. So in that list item, you have to define for each of the views the data that you want to show in there. So you need to match the data that you have with the text views that are there. That one will be done generally in this inner class. So we are defining what kind of data to be shown in each of the views in this class. After that, we in the bind view holder, we will bind the data uh, with the views, and we will do that based on the position of the screen. After you have done that, after you have implemented the adapter, the rest of the implementation is really easy. You just want to implement the layout manager. Then you need to just implement or define the layout manager function, and define it as a linear layout, for example, and then you can run the app. So currently we are in that position where we are trying to implement this RecyclerView adapter part. So once it is done, you have to just implement the rest of the, part related to the linear layout definition, and then you can run the app. And that will be kind of the overall part of the RecyclerView. So the first part of defining the RecyclerView is to define this contact adapter class. Contact adapter class is basically formed with these functions and this inner class. So the inner class is used to define the data that should go into each of the items in a view, right? So each of these items have different text views, and they have some defined data that should be displayed in them, right? So we have to, we have to display some specific data in each of these text views. So that definition we are doing inside this view holder, inside this inner class, right? The definition of what type of data that needs to be shown in each of the items or each of the views inside the item. So if you are unclear, you can let me know. So next, I think we will go into this layout creation part, which is the next, uh, implementation that we can do. So we will be generating new views under this function. So we will be uh, generating new views based on the layout of the layout that we have defined for the application. So the views uh, that we have defined for each item will be shown in the that will be generated in the interface. So this we will use we will define what each new view should be. So each new view we will define as a new variable, and that view will be defined using layout inflator function. So it is a I mean uh, function that is built inbuilt function. So these things actually you just look at that. You don't have to I mean uh, so this is the kind of standard method that is defined for this development for any type of recycler view development. So you will be basically inflating the layout defined in the item layout file, right? And then you will be you will be inflating it up to the dimensions of the parent view, which is the screen size. You will be inflating the views in the item layout such that it fits the parent dimensions. So that is regarding that, and it's asking about attaching to the root. We will make it false, and then so the context is another variable that is used, which is used to show the current location of the screen or the app. So current location of the app is shown given by the context. So if you want to address the current location of the app or current function of the app, then you will hold this context variable. So so this one you can use as a default for defining the value view, and then you have to return that you have to return that view as a to the view holder to show all the views in the screen. So you so once you define this, you develop new view holder that contains all the views that will fit the screen. So this will be used to generate all the views initially in the screen. After that, we can define this function where you'll be binding data to the views based on the scrolling of the screen. So for that, we have to make sure that we know the position of the screen. So the dynamic position of the screen is one of the inputs. So based on the position, we have to select the data. So this is the variable that we define uh, to uh, get the specific data related to that position. So related to that position, we will get the contacts. Out of the contacts list, we will get a certain contact. And then we have to change the text views. We have to change the text of the text view based on the location, based on that view. So we will use this contact adapter view holder, and then we will update the holder's TV name value based on the location of the data. So we are doing something very similar to what we have done in here, where you update the text of the view using the contact name. So in here also I update the uh, text using contact name. In here we the only difference is we are actually giving the value of the data in here. So in here actually we generally define how it should be, how the text of the text view must be defined and how it will be updated, what kind of data will be updated into this text. In here actually we are giving the exact data in here. Okay, so since I think I have defined this as a private variable, I cannot access it through this other function. So because of that, I have to remove the private, and then I can remove the error there. So I then try to update the text of the TV age text view by this screen, where I will be able to update the age value. So with that, I actually update the values of each of the view items by calling the variable related to the view and updating the data in that view using the data that I have. The data I have is stored in this variable known as contact. The contact is the variable that belongs to the specific position that we are considering at a certain time. Based on the position, we will update the contact information. So up to that we have done. So the the functions and the definition of the functions will be done like this, right? So we can actually then we have to call that adapter in here, and that already it has been called in here, and this adapter has to be uh, defined further as the adapter of the recycler view. So we have defined it as an adapter. However, we have to define it as a recycler view adapter. So for doing that, we can use a variable called recycler view, and it will be of type recycler view. So there's a type of variable called recycler view in Kotlin. So we can connect it to the layout that we have used to define the recycler view, which is RV contacts. So I think in the last class in this layout view, we have to, I think, have defined it as RV contacts. So the ID that is related to the RV contacts will be connected to this. So I have go to this the in here ID of the recycler view I have defined as RV contacts. So that one I'm calling in here, and I'm equating that to a variable called recycler view. After that, I can define the recycler view and its adapter. The adapter should be the adapter that I have defined in here. So these things are similar. So I take the same adapter I have defined in here to equate it to the recycler view adapter. Then I have to get the layout manager, and then I have to make it a linear layout manager. So the linear layout manager means that this this recycler view will uh, scroll in a certain vertical or horizontal direction. So linear layout manager is used to define in what direction that scrolling will happen. In order to see it further, we can also go to the code in here. So I think we can see somewhere, I think in the uh, maybe in the actually in the layout files, actually you can see the scrolling must happen in a certain direction, and that will be defined in these files, right? So if it is not anyway defined like that, it will uh, by default it will be taken uh, as a linear layout once we define it as the linear layout in here. So once we define it as a linear layout, the layout will of the layout will be in a certain direction, either vertically upwards or horizontal. We will define it as a linear layout. So the scrolling will happen either up or down likewise. So with that, I think most of the work is done related to the recycler view. We have to run this and see whether it works. So if you have any questions up to that point, you can let me know. And also I will, teach how to maybe, uh, uh, upload this to the GitHub and use, uh, I will try to show you how we can upload this to the GitHub. So I will share that with you as well. There's some kind of error. I think Okay. All right. So this is what I have actually, I think, accomplished with the, you know, with the ones, I mean, the layout that, I mean, I have defined. So the colors that I have in the other app I showed you is not here. Also, I think I need to adjust this age, whatever I show as the age in here, because I think some other information is shown in here. So can you let me know whether there's some error in this code? Right? Oh, I think it's fine. So this is actually how it looks like now, right? So the objective is to obtain the colored, view that we had in this one, right? Objective is to go for this kind of a layout. So we can actually do that by changing the color and the other attributes of the text views, and we can enhance the look of it. So initially we will have something like this. So after that, I mean, what we need to do is do some changes in the layout file with regard to the views appearance. We can access that using the item layout file, item layout.xml file, where you have the different text views, and then the text views different attributes you can define in here. So that I think you need to define for each of the text views, and that colors and text sizes, text styles, those things can be adjusted in here. So different attributes are there, so you can adjust those things in here. So as of now it looks like this. So you need to adjust the card view. Card view is the background view that we have here. So you can adjust the card view's appearance and appearance of the text views. So do you have any questions? So we have to when we are working with these colors, we have to define the colors inside the resource files. So in here we have something called colors file. In here you can define the different colors. So in here you can define the colors that you want to work with. So there's this specific color that I have shown you, that dark blue kind of color. That one you can define by using its hex value, hexa value, I think. So that value you can get from the internet, and you can put that in here. So I mean, the color name you can define, and its hexa value you can define. So if you want to define another one, you can define another color. You just need to update the name of the color. So it can be the code also you can obtain from the internet and you can paste in here. Then you have actually defined all the colors you want. So once you want a color, you can access the colors by this name. So in the item layout file, you can define the colors of the, for example, the card view and so on. So inside the tag, you can define those things. So card background color, you can define as either, blue, black, that kind of thing. So we'll see whether it's updated there. However, if it is getting updated, then this background will be that color. So background is that color now. So we want to make the card view look much better with the appearance. So the corners have to be updated. So the card views corner radius we can define. The corner radius means the curvature of the card view can define as some kind of a specific value that you want, and based on that you can see the output. You can try and see different attributes. You can select the one that is best for your application. So now I think there's some kind of curvature around the card view, right? So I think you cannot see that, I think maybe. So this is how the card views are looking now. Now earlier it was white in the background. Now it is looking black in the background. So you can obtain like this by changing the color and the other attributes of the card. Right, so we can change a lot of attributes. So the text views attributes also you can change. So so now you can see some changes have happened. Then text color. The text color you can change. So now you can see that the text color has changed. This is not the earlier one that we had, right? So I will remove the earlier one. So we will, so this is the updated app, right? So without having those attributes, if I have removed those attributes, those views will not look like this. If I remove these attributes and I will run that, the application interface will look white, black text will be there. So see, now we don't have that attributes. Once you add them, we can see a certain very high difference. there's a huge difference with the output. So the same thing can be done to this text views as well. In here, of course, I will make the text view size um, to a lesser value, and I will show the age as a smaller text and with italic font and same color. I have now those things like that. I hope it is clear to you how you can change the attributes of the of each of the items or views inside these items, right? So this singular thing is item. Inside the item you have separate views. So if you want to get more, look, I mean, you can change all these attributes and then you can obtain a better view than this. So those are the things you can do to improve the look of the appearance of this view. So by that we have implemented the recycler view. So do you have any questions regarding that? So I hope it is clear to you the step-by-step process of doing that. So you need to know how you can develop a recycler view and what are the important aspects to a recycler view. So the main component in the recycler view is the adapter, I would say. The adapter is the component that enables the recycler view's functioning. So you have to define how the adapter works. So the adapter is defined in this specific class, which we define as the contact adapter. Contact adapter has these functions: on create view folder, on bind view holder, get item count, those functions. And also this view holder class is defined to generalize how each views will hold the data and what kind of data each view will hold. So that is also defined as part of the definitions. Once you define those variables for the text views, you can get those variables directly called inside this bind view holder function. You can directly call those text views from here. So then from using onBind view holder function, you can bind the data to the views based on the position of the view. And then the first function, which is called the onCreateViewHolder function, is used to generate new views initially and obtain the views that fit to the size of the screen. So that is defined using this line. So if you want to see the functioning of this, different functions or different commands that we have given here, you can also define something called log commands to see the the access or to see which lines are executed in the code. So that is also, I think, kind of important when you are trying to debug the code. For example, if you want to find out whether some code line is functioning or not, then you can check whether that log message is accessed. So if you want to do that, you need to basically define something like this, a tag, which is the private constant value tag for the variable variable, and in here you can define a tag variable which is of this name. So whenever you call the tag, you can access that tag. You can access that inside these functions. So if you want to access this code at any location, you can type log.i, and inside that you can type tag, for example. So you can put the tag you have put as contact adapter. Then you can type some information like on create view holder function accessed. You can print anything. By doing so, you can check whether this code line has been accessed or not. So there's a red color here. So you need to import the library. Likewise, you can check for each of the, functions. So if you want to see some kind of variable, we have to put the dollar sign and put the variable name. Then you will be able to see the value of the variable. After doing so, you can run this. Then you can check whether these log commands are accessed by the code. That one you can see from here, from the log cat tab in the bottom in this command prompt or command window. So in here you can see what are the different log messages that are appearing in the log cat. So you can see that with the tag contact adapter there are some messages appearing. So right, so for specifically for contact adapter you have got these informations. So on create view holder function accessed. So that means this function has been accessed. So initially when we are running the code, when we are running the application, we can see what are the initial things that has happened. So these are the initial things that has happened. So initially when we talk about the contact adapter, the contact adapter has started happening from here. So initially we can see that this on create view holder has been accessed multiple times. That means the code has come to this point multiple times. And then afterwards it has come to this position. Then until like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 position, this on bind view holder function has been accessed, right? And then now since we are in this application, we can see now once I'm doing like this, more and more like commands are appearing in here, right? So more and more like messages are appearing in here. So in here you can see once I scroll like this, I can see the messages that are appearing, right? And then we can see that more uh, uh, more on build view holder messages are appearing than the on create view holder messages, right? So what it means is that the times of creating new views is lesser now, and the times of uh, uh, binding the data to the already available views is higher. So on build view holder is accessed more times to uh, bind the data to the already available views. So I think that you can see how it adaptively changes. So most of the time you will have on build view holder operation happening, right? So if you go back up, you can see how the on build view holder function shows the position of the views, right? So once you go to the top, you will be left with 0. So that will show us how how we actually access these different codes in the different position or different code lines in this code, right? So this log command is widely useful for us to find any kind of functioning of the code. If you want to find out whether a certain section of the code was accessed or not, we can use this log function. right? So the log function is used to detect whether that part of the code has been executed or not. And then if it is not executed, then we can debug the code there. We can correct the error that is there. So if there's some error, that command will not be accessed. So as of now, in this code actually, this on bind view holder, on create view holder, those functions are accessed. Because of that, these functions, these log commands are getting printed out, right? So these log commands are useful for debugging the code. I hope it is clear to you, right? And so the adapter is actually kind of the most crucial component in the recycler view. And the recycler view, uh, for the recycler view to occur, for it to function, it needs information. It needs data about each of the views. So the data we get from the contacts list, right? So the data is needed, and then we need information about each of the views. So the view holder is a variable that we use to store all the information regarding the views. So inside the view holder, you can store the information regarding the views. So that information plus the data is needed for this adapter to put the data into the necessary locations or the corresponding location. So right, so the data we have to put into the corresponding view. That part we can do once we have the knowledge about the data and once we have knowledge about the view holders, right? So when we are implementing this adapter, we need the view holder information and the data, which is stored in a list. In here it is contacts list. So with regard to recycler view, that will be it. And this kind of a standard way is used to generate any kind of a recycler view. So when we are doing that using this Android method, we have to define contacts adapter class. So that is basically regarding how we can develop the recycler view. Once you have developed that, you can go beyond that by extending this recycler view to a situation where you can click on each of these items and you can get more information regarding each of the items. So that is known as something called intents, creating an intent where you click an item and you go to a new screen. You can go to a new screen or new activity by creating an intent, or you can link this item with another screen. So when you click this item, an activity will be generated. Activity or a screen will be generated. So that part I think will be another section and which will be useful for us to, implement more useful applications from this recycler view. So in cases where we want to give more information about this person, we can implement intent on this item. Once you click on this item, that item that clicking should move you to a new screen. We should therefore learn how to navigate to a new screen and how to develop a new screen. So we have to work with multiple screens. So for doing that, we have to use something called intents. So intents is a method used. So in today's session, we have basically learned how to develop this recycler view with the scrollable functions. And the adapter class, we have learned how to define. In the adapter class, we have defined several functions. Those functions enable us to get this scrolling behavior. Each of the items have certain data, and we can define the data for each of the items using a list. And also that list will be having information about each of the objects that we define in the data class. So the each of the object, let's say in here person, will have name and age. So those name and age we can define using a certain function, and that function will define the different person's name and their corresponding age. After you define that data, after you have created that list of data, then you access that list using the uh, in the adapter class, you can access that data. Then you can put that data into the specific views using the view binder view function. So that is related to recycler view basically. So do you have any questions regarding that? So for the exam, I think I will definitely ask about the recycler view. So if you have any questions, you can ask. Right? Okay, so now I think I will look into the procedure of uploading this into the GitHub. Right? So for doing that, we have to first install the Git. Right? So if you have installed Git, you can you can use that. Otherwise, you have to use uh, the Git and download the Git in the available, right? Git download. So you can go to the location and download the specific Git for your operating system. After you have downloaded that, you can install that in a specific place. Right? It's recommended that you install it in the place that the Git is recommending you to place it. So what I mean is that when you're installing this one, you have to uh, save it in a location which is like program like the default position should be. So once you have uh, once you have installed that, now you can go to files, settings. In there you have something called version control. There you have Git. So in here, it will be shown the default position of the Git. You can check whether it is, identifying the Git location. If you get a message like this, it's successful. Otherwise, you have to manually put the exact location of the Git where you have installed that, the git.exe file, where it is, you have to find and you have to put that path into this location. Once you get the Git version properly displayed in here, that means you have accessed it correctly. And then uh, you can actually uh, click OK. Another thing is that you need to have a, a repository that you can use to upload this project into. So you can create that. You can create a new repository in your GitHub. profile, right? So you can create a new repository. You can go to the top and you can create a new repository. So I will put a name. So RecyclerView, some kind of tutorial. Then I will add a README file and I will create the repository. Once I create it, I will have this, and I will have a certain URL that I can use to access this repository. So this project that I'm defining, I need to upload into that repository. So in order to do that, I need to go to the VCS tab and then go to enable version control integration. In here, you can select Git, you can select OK. So now we will see that all these files are getting read, right? So that means that you haven't declared these files inside the local repository yet. In order to get that done, you have to declare all these files into the local repository. So for doing that, you can go to this project in here, and then you can right click and then you can go to Git. Then you can commit, go to add. You can first go to add, and then you can add all the files into the local repository. Once you add it, you will see that all the files are turning green in color. The font is turning green. Then you can go to to commit the files into the local repository. You can again go to this, right click Git, and you can commit directory. So you can put a commit message, some kind of commit message, version 1 of the RecyclerView, or I would say RecyclerView adapter. Definition of updating RecyclerView adapter. I will commit that. So by committing, what I do is I store these files in the local repository related to GitHub. So once I commit it, I will get a message called committed. After that, I need to push this into the remote repository, which is in the cloud for the internet. In order to do that, I have to go to this Git, and I need to push that into the remote repository. So I need to push that, and I need to define the URL of the repository. URL of the repository we have already obtained in here. So this one I can give in here. So now I will be shown all the files that will be pushed into the remote repository. I will click push. Then I will see the process happening in here. So I will have to log in. Have to log into the right? So now it shows that I have uh, okay, I have pushed the information into the GitHub file. Sorry. So I hope it has come here. So compare and pull request. Uh, I think it's still not updated yet. So I think until I get that figured out, can you mark your attendance? Okay, I think you have marked attendance. So do you have any questions to ask? Right, if you have marked your attendance, right, I think I will give you a small quiz to attempt, right? So you can, join the quiz and you can attempt the quiz regarding the recycler view that I have discussed. Shall I start? Are there more to join? Five, six, one more. No, I think that's all. Yeah, so recycler view is used to display a scrollable list or grid of items. So it's correct. So the correct answer is false. Recycler view, yes, it does recycle and reuse views. Recycler view is used to recycle the views. So it uses the same views all the time and update the data only in the views. It does not create new views all the time. So the expensive task is reduced. Right. So this is a crucial component of the recycler view, and it is the recycler view adapter. It's a crucial component in the recycler views. So adapter you need to have in the recycler views. So it's actually false that it is not a crucial component. So in RecyclerView, the adapter and view holder work together to define how data is displayed. So yes, so adapter requires the view holder uh, to get the information about the data that the view holder is containing about each of the views. View holder contains holds the data about the views. So that is needed for the adapter. So they work hand in hand to display the data in the views. Okay, key functions of the recycler view include all the three options that are given here. Creating views, creating new views is done. Binding of the data to the views is done. Determining the total list item count is done. So all these three ones are required. Because of that, the answer is all of the above. So I think most of you got the correct answer. Okay, adapter creates view hold objects and sets the data for those views. So it is true. So view hold objects are created and we are setting the data to them. So all of you got the correct answer, I think. So the kind of information stored in data class for RecyclerView items is the data that is associated with the items. So in the data class, basically in the data class, you are defining the the type of data that is displayed in the items, right? So in the data class, I think we have defined that. So I think in the data class, we define only the data type and the data that you're going to display in each of the items. It doesn't give any information about the user interface or the network configurations or the themes of the application. It only gives the data and the type of data that are going to be included in the data class. So I think that's all for the quiz, I think. I will put this, outputs in the LMS. So do you have any questions? So I think we have discussed about the RecyclerView. So if you have any questions, you can let me know. Okay, so I think this the part where I have to upload the project into the GitHub. So I think that's necessary for you to upload the assignments that I have given for you. So I have given an assignment regarding tip calculator development. So that needs to be uploaded into the GitHub. So I think some errors can come. So I think you need to follow the certain procedure to upload the you know projects into the GitHub repository. So I think that when I'm uploading that, some when accessing the repository, uh, some problems have come, but I think by redoing that process again, I think we can eliminate that error. So anyway, I think that I will explain about the GitHub and how to upload it during the interactive class also. And then I will explain how to upload your projects into the GitHub. So hopefully you will be able to upload it to your GitHub repository and share the link uh, as the output. Right, so you have to submit the link to the GitHub repository as the output of your work. So the project that you're developing should be uploaded to the GitHub. You have to share the link as the output, and you can put it into a PDF or some kind of a Word file, and then you can upload that as the submission. So I just need to get the information about the GitHub link, the repository link, and through that it should be accessible to me. So make it publicly accessible, and then I will be able to see all the information regarding your app, and I will be able to see how it functions. So you can share your code of the app using GitHub repositories. So I will explain how to upload the GitHub project again during the next class, since I'm running out of time in today's class. So Anyway, like I will try to eliminate this error. I'm getting some errors when I'm uploading that. So I will check these errors and I will try to debug them. So until then, uh, I would like you to then try to get the assignment done and maybe get it functioning. Then I will also, you can also follow some instructions and get uploaded to GitHub in the meantime as well, and then complete that assignment. So if you have any questions, you can ask, and you can also ask, any questions related to RecyclerView that we have discussed today. Also, in the next class, we will do the part where we are clicking each of the items in the RecyclerView and getting more information about the items of the RecyclerView. So I think with that, I would like to conclude today's session. If you don't have any questions, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. So thank you for attending today's class.